Through this 25-minute training video, we'll show you how to operate the UltraSlim 2A ultrasound machine to obtain maximum slimming results. First, we'll look at how ultrasounds work on fat tissue. Then we'll look at the machine itself and its different functions. And lastly, we'll put the machine into use and do a demonstration. The UltraSlim 2A machine is a double-action ultrasound device, which is a new innovation on the market. It actually works with two different types of frequencies that obtain two different results on fat cells. First, we'll be looking at how to treat superficial fat through the use of low-frequency ultrasound, which has been in medical practice for over 15 years. The second type of frequency is a medium frequency, which is a more recent innovation. It actually works on the deep internal fat, and it actually stimulates the neurosympathetic system. And this, in turn, triggers the release of noradrenaline, which favorizes lipolysis.
Cette enzyme a la particularité de favoriser la lipolyse.
Lipolysis is a process which allows the transformation of triglycerides to fatty acids. These fatty acids are then assimilated and evacuated from the body. We can have very interesting results for certain cases, such as obesity, or more in particular, metabolic syndrome, since the treatment promotes the reduction of both superficial and deep internal fat.
Parce qu'on va conjuguer à la fois le traitement sur les graisses superficielles et à la fois le traitement sur les graisses internes.
The UltraSlim 2A ultrasound machine is composed of two main parts: the machine itself, which is used to program the parameters, and the plates that are applied to the treatment zones of the person. There are two series of plates. You have the low-frequency plates that are coded from A to E and are purple in color. And you also have the medium frequency plates that are coded with an X and are gray. The treatment setup starts with connecting each plate cable to the machine, matching the letters on the plates to the corresponding outlets on the machine, meaning a plate with an X will get plugged into the X outlet on the machine.
Avec le connecteur X de la machine. Par exemple, je vais connecter.
For example, I will now connect an A low-frequency plate cable to the A outlet on the machine.
Le repère A sur le connecteur de la machine.
Once all the cables have been connected, the machine is now ready for operation.
Une fois que vous avez raccordé les plaques dont vous avez besoin,
you can now turn on the machine. Of course, you have to first plug in the machine's electric cable to both the machine, which is found at the back, and the wall outlet.
La mise en route de l'appareil s'effectue avec l'interrupteur qui est ici.
The power switch needs to be turned on to this position. The two beeps indicate that the power is on.
Les deux logements qui sont ici.
The two holes found at the back are here to attach an accessory tray which comes with the machine, and it's used to hold the plates. The treatment selection is done with the use of this dial. I can choose to treat superficial fat with low-frequency ultrasounds, called USLF. I can also choose to treat deep internal fat with medium-frequency ultrasounds, called USMF. Or I can choose the double-action option. This means that I'll use both low and medium frequencies at the same time, and this is the most interesting feature of the UltraSlim 2A machine. Once I have made my choice, I'll push the Valid button. Now the machine will ask me to select which exact plates are to be used for the treatment according to the person's needs. With the dial, I'll select the appropriate configuration. The plates that are highlighted are the ones that will be activated, and the unlit ones, or the white ones, are deactivated. This zone indicates the low frequency plates, and here the medium frequency plates labeled with an X. One should note that the low frequency plates are grouped in pairs from A to E. Once I have made the plate selection, I will validate my choice by pushing the Valid button. Now the machine asks me to select the mode. There are two types, either continuous or pulse mode, which I will do by turning the dial. In this case, I'll choose continuous mode. The continuous mode is the most appropriate in the majority of cases, while the pulse mode is used for people who are very sensitive to ultrasounds, which is extremely rare. I'll now select the treatment duration. By default, the duration is automatically set for 20 minutes, but it may be increased to a maximum of 30 minutes. I'll now validate the treatment for a duration of 20 minutes. After this validation, the information screen displays all the selected parameters. Now to start the treatment, I'll push the Start button. You will notice immediately that the plates are functioning and the timer has started, counting down second by second. Here I can choose the intensity for the low frequency plates. With the dial, I can increase the ultrasound intensity to a maximum of 6. One should note that the average setting is either 3 or 4, which is sufficient in the majority of cases. When a strong frequency such as 6 is selected, there is a risk of undesired skin rash for certain people. I can also select the intensity for the medium frequency plates. In this case, I'll push the Valid button, and the symbol for the medium frequency is highlighted. And now I can select the frequency for the plates with the use of the dial. It may be noted that 1 or 2 are the recommended settings for this type of frequency, because this low setting is enough to stimulate the neurosympathetic system. By pushing the Valid button, I'm brought back to the low frequency setup program where I can change the frequency if needed. When the session is over, the machine will stop automatically and will go back to the original screen. If you'd like to stop the treatment in the middle of a session, you need to push the Stop button like this. The information is then frozen on the screen, saving all the parameters at the time the treatment is stopped. You can restart the treatment by pushing the Stop button once again. To terminate the treatment altogether and return to the initial program menu screen, you can push the Stop button again, and then the Reset button. We are now ready to start a treatment. You'll notice that on the low frequency plates, the green lights indicate that the plate is activated and that the vibrations can be felt. You can feel them by putting your hand on the plate like this. And if I stop the machine, the plate stops immediately. If I restart the machine, the plates then start up again. It should be noted that the green lights can turn orange in the case of a defective plate. This is an exclusive security system that we have put into place, allowing the detection of potential defaults to the plate, which should be communicated to us immediately. The medium frequency plates function the same as the low frequency plates, only their lights are blue. We have been able to produce high-performing plates due to their innovative ceramic composition.
Ces transducteurs tout à fait performants grâce à une innovation au niveau de l'étude des céramiques. Une des grandes innovations de l'US2A.
One of the most important innovations of the UltraSlim 2A machine is the fabrication of the plates themselves. We have developed a unique ultrasound system based on our own ceramic technology. Most of our competitors use a piezoelectric transmitter system, meaning that the vibrating ceramic surface area is extremely small, so the results are fairly low. Thanks to our innovation, we are able to obtain results far superior to the average because there is direct contact between the ceramic part and the plates, and also due to the large surface area of the ceramics, and also because there is an even distribution over the entire plate's surface area. So in summary, due to this new technology, we can obtain higher strength, more efficiency, and a more even distribution of the treated areas.
et une meilleure répartition de l'énergie sur toutes les zones qui sont traitées.
You can see by looking at the water on the plate that the vibrations are evenly distributed to demonstration that the vibrations given off to the tissues are also done in a homogeneous fashion.
De manière aussi tout à fait homogène.
Now we will put the machine into use and do an actual demonstration. To start, we'll first look at the person to decide the treatment areas. In this case, we will work with the abdominal area, where we'll put 2 plates here on the front. We'll also work here in the hip area, where there's the start of cellulite, and the back of the upper thighs. Now that we have decided the zones that we will be treating, an important step is to take measurements of the waist, the hips, and the thighs. For the waist, I'll measure 5 centimeters down from the belly button to ensure that the measurement is always taken at the same place. And for the thighs, I'll measure 24 centimeters up from the top of the knee, again to ensure that every time the measurements are taken at the same place. I'll first measure around both legs, and then I will measure each leg separately. Before the treatment, we will apply the Cowleads gel that will penetrate into the skin through the use of ultrasounds. The Cowleads gel has been especially formulated to treat cellulite and contains a very strong concentration of metabolic active ingredients to decrease fat tissue and increase circulatory and draining results. In this case, we'll be using the double frequency mode. We'll be using both types of plates. The low frequency plates labeled A to E on the abdomen and thighs, and the medium frequency plates labeled X on the lower back. We will use 3 low frequency plates for one thigh. I'll first need to attach them together. Then I'll take 3 more low frequency plates for the other thigh, which I will also attach together. It's very important to use a good amount of contact gel to allow for the proper transmission of ultrasounds. The gel needs to be evenly distributed over the entire plate. This can be done with the use of a brush or spatula. I'll now ask that the person position themselves over the plates. The wide fabric bands are used to hold the plates tightly in place. We will now prepare and position the medium frequency plates against the lower back of the person. These medium frequency plates are to stimulate the neurosympathetic system. We will now place 2 lower frequency plates on the abdomen, which will work to reduce the amount of superficial fat in this area. With the ultrasound machine, we have 3 options. We can work on superficial fat using low frequency, or on deep internal fat using medium frequency. The third option is to use the double frequency mode to treat both superficial and deep internal fat simultaneously. In this particular case, we'll use the double frequency mode. Now we are ready to program the machine. We'll first select the amount of low frequency plates we'll be using. In this case, we'll be using 8 low frequency plates. 2 plates are on the abdomen and 3 plates are on each thigh. We'll then select the amount of medium frequency plates by pushing the valid button. We'll then select continuous mode. For people who are extremely sensitive to ultrasounds, the pulse mode should be used. I'll validate my choice and I'll select the time of treatment by using the dial for a maximum of 30 minutes. In fact, 20 minutes is the recommended time. I'll validate the time and press the Start-Stop button, and this begins treatment. I can also change the strength setting in general. The recommended setting for low frequency ultrasound is 3 or 4. And 1 or 2 for medium frequency. The 20-minute session has now started and the timer is counting down. The green lights indicate that the plates are working correctly. One can feel slight vibrations, but the treatment is completely painless. If ever the person feels uncomfortable due to an itchy or pins and needles sensation, try repositioning the plate slightly to spread out the gel better. If the person still complains of uncomfortableness, you can add more gel. A treatment lasts 20 minutes on average and up to 30 minutes maximum. 2 treatments per week are recommended, and 3 treatments per week in cases where more efficient results are desired. A total of 10 to 20 sessions is ideal, depending on the person's needs. To optimize the results and evacuate and burn the liberated fat, it is strongly recommended to do either a vibrating plate or oscillating plate session after each ultrasound treatment. It is recommended to avoid eating food containing high amounts of sugar and/or fat 2 hours before and after treatment. Now the treatment is over and we can remove the plates. One can see that the active ingredient gel that we applied before the treatment has completely penetrated into the skin. After treatment, a hydrating cream can be applied to soften the skin if needed. Any remaining gel should be removed from the skin. And then any leftover gel can be slightly massaged into the skin. And that's the end of the session. We'll now show you how to treat specific body areas and ways to position the plates through a few examples. For example, 4 plates can be placed on each thigh for maximum results of this area.
Je peux travailler également à l'intérieur du genou.
Another area that we can work on is the inner knee area, where a plate can be placed on each leg. And another specific area is the calf area, where we can also put a plate. And the famous love handle area can be worked on as well.
Et au niveau des triceps.
And we can finally work on the tricep area. Thank you for joining us for this training video.